Hi, today is Monday, March 18th, and I'm Stacy Durbin, the Senior Vice President for Semonin Realtors, a Berkshire Hathaway home services company. This message is for my friends and fellow fast-reading Americans who only read news headlines. The mass media has taken some fascinating liberties in the hours following the announcement of NAR's legal settlement this past Friday. Here's what you should know. In Kentucky, buyers and sellers can do and transact real estate without representation. However, many buyers and sellers consistently elect to hire a real estate professional to represent their interest and assist them in the purchase or sale of a home. Commissions paid by sellers and buyers have always been negotiable. Sellers interview agents from different firms that often provide various levels of service. As we know, there's always someone willing to do it for cheaper. From limited service companies who simply put the property in the MLS to full-service firms who stage properties and run comprehensive marketing campaigns, the options seem almost endless. The real estate firm decides what they will charge for their services, and the seller enters into a listing agreement based on the terms both parties have agreed to. Similarly, in Kentucky, buyers often enter into a buyer's agency agreement to hire an agent to represent their interest in the purchase of a home. Buyers can choose among many options as well, such as limited service brokers who offer often some sort of rebate at closing, or they can hire a full-service agent who charges a higher fee for their services. When a company lists a property for sale, it has been customary for the seller to offer compensation to a buyer's agent. This is not a requirement. However, we believe that buyers are best served to have a trusted advisor representing their interest, and if the seller is willing to offer compensation to a buyer's agent, it reduces the amount of cash the buyer actually has to bring to the closing table. To be clear, the buyer has contractually agreed to pay their agent, so if the listing agent doesn't cover that amount, the buyer is still responsible to bring the rest of the fee to the closing. So what changed on Friday? The multiple listing services owned by the National Association of Realtors have said they will no longer allow listing firms to advertise the offer of compensation to buyer's agents effective in July. The listing firm will have to communicate it. You can do this by visiting their website, or the buyer will simply have to inquire for it. Practices are likely to evolve over time, as they always have. However, what I know for sure is that a primary residence is the single largest investment the majority of Americans will make in their lifetime. They are no less today likely to want someone to advise them and guide them through that process than they were yesterday. Buyer's agents are not extinct. If a seller chooses not to offer any compensation to a cooperating buyer, the buyer's agent will have to pay their agent directly, which will limit the number of buyers who can afford or potentially make offers on a home, especially in lower price points. Sellers have not been forced to use full-service listing firms who charge X% and have not been forced to pay buyer's agents. However, just like sellers have often paid for closing costs or made repairs, many have elected to hire a firm to list their home and to offer cooperating compensation in order to position them to get the highest price with the least amount of inconvenience. The range of fee structures and offers for cooperative compensation across firms are almost as unique as the homes they sell. I can think of a few companies who have been undercutting us on price for decades. The decision is in the hands of the buyer and sellers today, just as it was yesterday. As the idiom goes, there's no such thing as a free lunch. And per Merriam-Webster, it's not possible to get something that is desired or valuable without having to pay for it in some way. If you have questions about buying or selling real estate, ask a professional, but remember, professional advice is not free. Thank you so very much, and have a great day.